Anthony Burgess is the author of A Clockwork Orange, and despite it being by far his most famous work, he's always cited it as his least favorite.
So we wanted to see if he's right, and decided to read The Wanting Seed, a book he published the same year as A Clockwork Orange.
And the world's definitely a bit different, but we're going to take a look at it and see if we enjoy it.
I'm Eric.
And I'm Alex.
And this is In Other Works.
I don't want to beat around the bush with this book. It's problematic, to say the least.
The version we have is published in 1986. Originally published in 1962, but the edition we have is in 86, and it has a new introduction from him.
So the big thing about this dystopia is that it's about overpopulation.
Yeah.
And he said, and to talk about overpopulation, he literally says, what if the rest of the world was like India?
He talks about in his introduction about how he speculated that homosexuality would become favored. And if you would look at the world today, it seems like maybe I'm right about that. As if the world seeing homosexuality as okay is a terrible thing.
And the big dystopian thing is that the government is encouraging people to be gay to help combat overpopulation.
Yeah. So in this book, if you happen to have a family and have a child, then you're less likely to advance in your career than if you have a coworker who is gay or sterile, because they also encourage people to, snip, snip. So that's the society in this world takes place in. And then we're sort of introduced to the two protagonists, a married couple.
One with the most annoying protagonist name ever, Beatrice Joanna.
And the first time we hear that name, I figure, okay, her full name is Beatrice Joanna, but eventually he's going to start referring to her as Beatrice.
Yeah.
But no, Beatrice Joanna every time she's mentioned. And it's I don't know why. It's like every time I read that name, it felt like somebody running their fingernails down a chalkboard. I don't know why. It just drove me nuts.
And the name of the other protagonist is just Burgess flexing the fact that he's a fan of Finnegan's Wake by naming him Tristram, which if you read the first page of that book, the second paragraph opens with the line, Sir Tristram, via Lord de Moraes. Funnily enough, that's not the only time the book mentions James Joyce. There's also reference to Armorica, which also on the first page talks like a couple sentences after says North Armorica. And then there's something talking about a portrait of James Joyce in the book like way later on.
I mean, Burgess in interviews and stuff I've seen with him does seem to be a bit of a pompous intellectual.
Yeah.
No matter what you think of his writing, that seems to be a bit of his personality.
And that very much comes across in his writing. I mean, I like A Clockwork Orange, but I think that's very much especially true of that book. It's so funny, though, because you see this, even though he's this pompous intellectual, I think there's no way a smart person would write this book.
The one we've just read?
Yeah.
I don't know. I wouldn't say he's not an intelligent man,
but it's a dumb book.
It's a dumb dystopia.
Yeah. Doesn't really explain how we got to this point of overpopulation at all either.
Yeah, it doesn't explain how we got there. It doesn't really suggest solutions. Just demonstrates the horrible solutions that the society comes up with.
Like being gay.
Like, okay, yes. Well, actually, that's a good one. But in the book, it's a horrible one. Yeah. But there's others down the road.
And people are starving, though, and a lot of cannibalism is done.
So the story starts with Beatrice Joanna
mourning the death of her son.
And having to turn his body over to the government so that it could be turned into fertilizer to grow crops, because there is a food crisis. Yeah. And so nothing can go to waste, including human remains.
Yeah, and the thing is also like there's a rule in place also that people are legally only allowed to have one birth. Like each family, only one birth. And even if the kid dies, you're not allowed to have another one.
Right.
Your bloodline dies.
She is dealing with all that grief.
And wants another kid.
And wants another kid, which they can't legally do. As an author, he's very into language. And there's a passage just after where she's in the process of dealing with her son's, giving up her son's body, and everybody sort of acting like this is normal and fine, and nobody having any sympathy for the grief that she's going through. The book describes at one point With its mixture of pigments, cephalic indices, noses, and lips, it looked like some monstrous international airport lounge. And that term, cephalic indices, cephalic means of the head, and especially refers to a baby, the way a baby is positioned right before birth with the head down. It doesn't really make sense to use that word in that sentence, but it brings up the point that she is still thinking about children. There's a passage a little further on where it describes the crowd of people being like spermatozoa. Like he uses all this language to keep the idea of pregnancy alive while talking about all these other things.
Yeah, although I will say for the most part, though, while there is some bits of cool language stuff like that he does, it's definitely nowhere near the level of a Clockwork Orange. Sure, there's some bits of that sort of stuff, but for the most part, I find the prose to be rather personalityless.
I mean, it is a different future society in that, but he
Yeah.
hasn't come up with much linguistically to differentiate it from our world, whereas, obviously Clockwork Orange, he's got the entire book is written in a slang that he invented. So yeah, it's quite different in that way.
Yeah. But it also comes that, like, I feel like the characters don't have that much of a voice either. Like, there's nothing, like, none of the characters are particularly interesting,
I agree that they're not necessarily all that interesting. Although I did find there was something in the introduction of Tristram where it makes it clear that he's not a very good teacher. And he's expecting a promotion, which he doesn't get. The reason he doesn't get it is because he has a colleague who's gay and also up for the promotion. And even though that colleague has less experience, he gets the promotion because he's gay. And it makes it clear it's because he's gay, but he's also established early that Tristram's actually not that good a teacher anyway. So couldn't it just be that this other person is more qualified? But the way the book describes it, it's definitely because he's gay.
Tristram also has a brother who is pretending to be gay.
Yes, and he's a government bureaucrat. We find out that he is
having an affair with Beatrice Joanna.
Yes.
And basically what the plot of the book is he gets her pregnant.
I mean, without getting into spoilers, that's pretty much the plot of the book.
Yeah. Which I have to ask, like, what is the book supposed to want us to think of Beatrice Joanna?
What does it want us to think of anybody in this book?
No, it's really so weird because it's like, obviously, like, nothing she does in this book is like at all cool, but then it's like for some reason by the end it just passes over everything, like they didn't just do some,
There's a point in the book where she thinks about the fact that she can't possibly be a one-man woman. She basically says, like, she wants Tristram back, but she's not prepared to give up Derek. And that's never addressed again. Like, we're just supposed to accept that she's going to be a bigamist, whether her husband likes it or not?
It starts off in a way where it's like almost cartoonishly misogynistic in the way, like, she's like portrayed as like this detestable person. And then the book's just like, oh, no, never mind. Even though she's not at all a different person, it then just suddenly starts to act like, no, she's perfectly in the right. And it's like, what?
Yeah. I don't really get what the lesson is there. And I don't get what the lesson of the book itself is, other than gay is bad and don't get a vasectomy and probably don't let immigrants in.
And also, there's a lot of Christian stuff,
He described himself as a lapsed Catholic, but I don't think the lapsing was in his belief so much as Catholicism itself. Like, my sense is that he's still a Christian, but he's not so much a Catholic anymore.
Yeah.
One of the messages of the book seems to be, in a world plagued with overpopulation, the worst thing you can do is try and control the birth rate. And even God will punish the society for trying to do that.
And also, I find the whole idea of an overpopulated world to be kind of ridiculous, because the whole thing is it's not really a question of overpopulation. It's a question of resource management thing, like people blame like overpopulation on stuff when it's like, no, it's really just like 100 guys doing like most of the shit that's fucking up the resources.
And the other thing is, Like, I don't really think he has a grasp on what causes population problems. Societies that have high populations and high birth rates tend to be ones with severe poverty.
Yeah.
And the UK, other than the fact that there's a food shortage and everybody is suffering from the food shortage, it's not presenting the UK as an impoverished society. Mm-hmm. So where is this overpopulation coming from? One other issue with this book is it's not something that's super relevant to the book, but I feel pretty uncomfortable also with the way he talks about race. There is an Asian man. We first encounter him in a protest that Tristram gets caught up in. Mm-hmm. And he's described as cross-eyed, which, especially like going back as far as the 60s, like think of Breakfast at Tiffany's. That terrible Asian landlord who's played by a white guy and he's cross-eyed, and it's like a typical derogatory stereotype of Asians that they're all cross-eyed.
Man, I know
and then for him to specifically say this one Asian character in the book is cross-eyed. He doesn't use the word cross-eyed. He uses like a word I had to look up to know that it means cross-eyed. But he describes him as comically cross-eyed. And it's just like, what are you doing? Like, why does that even have to be in there?
Yeah, and it's not just that, though. There's also, like, just the way it talks about other nations in the world also seems very much... Like, what I said in the foreword, that stuff is also very much talked about, like, with India, and talks about China. And it very much says some things that are I took as, like, very colonialist. Which is weird, because he's expressed very anti-colonialist sentiments, hasn't he?
He has. He's known to be anti-colonialist, and I've got a really ugly, sneaking suspicion about why Anthony Burgess was opposed to colonialism from reading this book.
Because that means immigrants are going to come to Britain.
Yes, because the book also seems to have some hint at some anti-immigrant stances. Mm-hmm. And honestly, I think he's opposed to colonialism because colonialism encourages immigration from the places you colonize.
Yeah. So basically what we're getting at is the reason Burgess probably considers A Clockwork Orange his worst book isn't because it's his worst book. It's probably his best book. I think the reason is probably because he's not a good dude.
Yeah. It could be.
You know what? Also, actually, the thing about this book is how I just, without getting into any spoilers, the main conflict is like, just keeps getting distracted with just bullcrap that's just not like, and I guess it's relevant to the world building or whatever, but it's not relevant to the story. It doesn't have any like interconnection for me to care about any of this. And then the protagonists seem to stop caring about the conflict, and it's just like, why should I care about any of this? There's just, I know I said the word care too much, but there's no reason to care.
I mean, I guess you're supposed to eventually have sympathy for these characters. And,
I lose it. Not that I ever had it.
And just be rooting for them. Maybe, I don't know, you're supposed to root for Tristram and Beatrice Joanna by the end of it, but I don't.
Yeah.
I don't care about their fate.
Yeah. And Derek also is like set up as like this main antagonist and then just kind of disappears.
Yeah, it's true. Like, I mean, he's definitely sort of on the outside throughout the whole book. Like, he doesn't disappear completely, but he never becomes like thoroughly involved in anything.
No, this book just, it doesn't go anywhere. Like, I know that's like, spoiler warning or whatever, but screw it. This book doesn't deserve it. It doesn't go anywhere. And then also, like, Tristram's kind of just pathetic.
The one thing I would say about this is, like, I was kind of entertained by how pathetic he was.
Yeah.
Like, it did kind of read like a comic odyssey that he's going on. Like, where it's just like one more ridiculous thing after another that he stumbles through and constantly gets delayed by.
There would be, but it's just so uninteresting, I found. It's a boring book. Like, it's weird because the language itself isn't boring. It's very readable. So I was able to like continue reading my way through it. But like, it's a weird thing where despite that, I'm still bored. It's not like Mansfield Park where I'm like struggling to read through it because I'm bored by it. I'm like able to read it through it while just thinking, man, this is boring.
Yeah.
So I guess the thing is in comparing this with A Clockwork Orange, on all literary fronts, let's see. Is the world at all more interesting? Definitely not. Are the characters at all more interesting? Definitely not.
Aleks in A Clockwork Orange,
Yeah.
who is a sociopath,
Yeah.
is far more charming than anybody in this
Yeah.
book.
Like, absolutely, like, yeah, how are you gonna make, like, the worst dude ever more likable than just...
Yeah.
Is the use of language better? Obviously not. Philosophically, does it have anything as interesting to say as, like, the moral dilemma in A Clockwork Orange? Obviously not.
No.
There is no reason to think that you wrote a better book here. I don't understand. Like, I don't like talking about things objectively, but there's not a single element here that I could possibly see a single soul thinking it's a more interesting work. There is not a single element that is better. It's not a good book. It's a bad book.
Yeah.
Like, this is easily, like, my least favorite book we've covered on the channel so far. As you said, there's no message in any message. It's hard to grasp on a message, but the messages that we do seem to grasp on are terrible messages.
Yeah. Yeah, the message being, like, be a Catholic. Which even Anthony Burgess wasn't successful at.
So it's just a contradictory mess. That's just don't read it.
Or do read it and then, tell us if we're wrong.
But we're not.
So I guess all that's left to do is rate this thing. And on a scale of Yarbles to Real Horror Show, how would you rate it?
Man, I really want to say Yarbles, like, because this book is just, it's not good at all. And it's like, it upsets me. Like, it pisses me off. But it isn't quite that level of just awful. So I'm just going to have to say it still is pretty Mersky.
Yeah, and I don't know. I think there are parts of it that I might have enjoyed a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely more than you did, but only parts of it.
Mm-hmm.
On the whole, I agree with you that it's not a good book, but maybe a little bit better than you're saying. I'm going to have to call it gloopy.
Yeah, I mean, it is really dumb too. So it's both Mersky and gloopy, honestly.
There you go.
So that's our review of The Wanting Seed. Please stay tuned for our spoiler discussion, where we're going to continue to rip this book a new one.
So yeah, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and do all those other things YouTubers tell you to do.
See ya!